I'm Logan Crawford, and right now on GBM, we're diving into a meaningful and imaginative children's book. It is called The Trouble with Bubbles, and it's written by a terrific and inventive author. Her name is Donna Shortall. This thoughtful story empowers young readers to think critically, make good choices, and understand the consequences of their actions. With charm and wisdom, it's a must-read for parents, teachers, and kids alike, navigating life's early lessons. We're delighted to have this very talented author join us here today. We thank the team at Atticus Publishing for helping us put her on TV today, and we ask viewers like you to support authors like her by subscribing to our channel and by purchasing her amazing book. The links are below this interview. Donna, thank you so much for joining us here today.
Thank you for having me.
Let's get to the message of this book, The Trouble with Bubbles. Tell us what you hope children take away from it.
I've always believed that you can handle almost anything in life if you're given the information. And that was my thought when I was writing it, was that we don't always provide kids with the information that they need to be able to think things through and make good decisions. So I used to work with kids. I worked with kids for 12 years, and we had some very interesting conversations. So I firmly believe that life is a lot more fulfilling if you have the information to make good decisions.
What do you think children need when it comes to making good decisions from caregivers and parents? You talk about good information, but what type of decisions or choices might they be making, and what kind of information might they need?
Well, I think that honesty is very important because kids face a lot of challenges that even in like in my generation growing up, I may not have faced. So I think that in order for them to be able to process what's going on around them, they need to be given the information to help them process that. And it can be something as simple as I was working in the schools and I had a little girl walk by me and she stepped on my foot and she didn't say anything. So I backed her up and said, "What did I do to you?" And she said, "Nothing. Why?" And I said, "Oh, I thought you must be mad at me because you stepped on my foot." And she said, "Oh, no, it was an accident." So we talked about the fact that in order for someone to know something like that, you have to do something simple like say, "I'm sorry." And it became quite a talking point with some of her friends because they ended up going upstairs and ended up, one of them bumped into another one. And I went out and they were fighting. And I said, "What is going on?" "Well, she pushed me." And the other little one said, "No, I didn't push you. I bumped into you." "Ah, but did you tell her that? Did you say you were sorry?" So they looked at each other because they were friends.
Right.
And they looked at each other and, went through the whole, "I'm sorry, I didn't mean to do it." And so I think sometimes we forget that children
Mhm.
don't always have the information that they need to be able to process through things. And sometimes if we just give them that little, "Well, what if?" We spent a lot of time doing, "Well, what if?" So I think it's very important. I worked in the schools at a time when I watched women had to start going back to work because the world got so expensive. And so we weren't spending as much quality time with kids. And I know working all day long, you get very tired. So you're doing things quickly. But sometimes when you're doing those quick things, it's not hard to be able to say, "Well, what if?" and just be able to talk to them about things. I don't think we talk to kids as much as we could.
Exactly. I think children can handle pretty much anything that they need to know if given the proper information in language where they can embrace it and understand it. I think children are absolutely as smart as adults in many ways. They're just not as experienced as adults in many ways. So I think it's a
Absolutely.
great point. Why did you choose bubbles as a metaphor or theme for this book?
I have a very vivid imagination. So I was working in the schools at the time, and I was working with a couple children that had learning challenges. And I thought, I would do a lot of, well, what if? What if?
Mhm.
And so I was thinking one day about, what would be the hardest thing if you were trying to blow a bubble? What would be the hardest thing in the world? Well, having a trunk would be a problem. So it kind of grew out of that. And like I say, I have a very vivid imagination. So I have a lot
Yeah.
of things twirling around in there.
And I think kids are fascinated by bubbles. I still am. If you gave me bubbles
Hmm.
right now, I'd start blowing bubbles. It's a fun thing to do. It's silly
Hmm.
and it's fun, but there's something magical about bubbles, you know?
Hmm.
None like just like snowflakes, no two are the same. And so it's very, very fun. And I think it does capture children's imaginations. Who's your target audience for this book? What age range of children?
I would say maybe 6 to 8 year olds, because it would still be challenging to be able to read, but they would be the ones that would maybe involve the parents when they're reading. So that was my thought when I was writing it.
Wonderful. What is this your first time writing a book? Tell us a little bit about your writing career.
I have a couple books. This is the
Okay.
only one that's published.
Okay.
And I published it mainly because I had written a story for a friend of mine, including her two sons.
Hmm.
And she said, what else have you written? And I showed her this one, and she said, you have to publish it.
Great.
So it's been sitting there for a long time.
Yeah.
And with her encouragement, I said, okay, let's try. So
Great.
I've I got an email from someone who said, I love and hate your book. And I thought, uh-oh. But she explained she has twin boys, and it's each of their favorite book. So she ended up reading, she would read it at nap time and she would read it at bedtime. So it was one of those, oh, okay, I'm good with that.
Wonderful. Well, that's high praise that two kids are fighting over your book because there's not too many
Hmm.
kids fighting over books nowadays with all the videos and all that stuff out there. Speaking of videos, have you envisioned this as a cartoon or an animated feature for kids, something like that?
Oh, I would love it.
Yeah,
I, I wouldn't know where to take it, but
right.
I would love it.
Yeah. Well, you've done the hard work. You've created the story and the idea and the premise. So perhaps it'll just wind up in the right person's hands one day and say, hey, let's turn this into a children's feature. I think that would be terrific because I think there's lots of great values in it and a lot of great imaginative aspects to the story, without a doubt. Are you working on anything new right now? Are you thinking about a sequel? Tell us now that you've
I
published, you
have
might
one
have.
that's written. It's working on illustrations. I have another one that is half written. I actually have a book that's written and sitting in my computer. So
Great.
I have, I'm very wordy. I have a whole catalog of words.
So I used to hate getting that on my papers when I was a kid. Too wordy. I was like, oh no, I got it a lot. Or see me. See me was the worst because it meant like
Mhm.
now you've got to go talk to the teacher. Well, I think if the teacher wanted to talk to you, she'd have nothing but good things to say about your writing because this book is terrific. Tell us about the illustrations. How did you get those done? Did you work with a publishing company to do them or an agency or did you do them yourself?
I did it myself.
You did.
Yeah,
Wow, that's
I
great.
I get bored, so I had written it, and like I say, I have a very vivid imagination. So it was okay. So what if? So I started drawing it out, and the same friend who encouraged me to publish it said, "Oh no, no, you can't change the pictures because that was one of the things that I had given her a copy." And she said that was one of the things that her kids found so funny. So I was
Awesome.
like, okay, here we go.
Well, there you go. That's high praise. Well, you're a talented woman. You can not only write, you can create the artwork for your stories. That's terrific. The name of the book we're exploring today is called The Trouble with Bubbles. And it is an insightful, heartwarming story that teaches children how to make thoughtful decisions. Donna, thank you so much for joining me here today.
Thank you.
Such a good time talking to you. I appreciate your insight, your wit, and your wisdom. To the folks at home, I'm Logan Crawford for the Global Book Network. So long for now.